Hello, everybody. Welcome to my UFC 328 Chimeav versus Strickland predictions. These allergies are getting to me. I'm probably going to be coughing and sneezing and all that. You can see my nose is a bit red. The allergies are getting to me. But you know what? We still keep the predictions coming. So, um, let's hop into it. First fight. Clayton Carpenter versus Jose Ochoa. You know, I really like Jose Ochoa, man. I think Jose Ochoa is a really good fighter with a lot of potential in this flyweight division. And he went to a very close fight with Loner Kavanaugh, who just beat Brandon Moreno. So Jose Ochoa's got some. He's got some levels to his game. Clayton Carpenter's decent. He will probably have the slight grappling advantage here, but I think Jose Ochoa can shuck off the grappling, and he's much better on the feet. So I'm going to go with Jose Ochoa here. I'm going to go Jose Ochoa by TKO round 2. Kind of similar to the Cody Durden fight, to be honest with you. Um, Jose Ochoa winning the first round, and then and then sliming Clayton Carpenter on a round 2. Um, I just think Jose Ochoa is a better MMA fighter. Clayton Carpenter is a good grappler, but he's not really you know, he doesn't really do that much damage to people. Whereas Jose Ochoa hits hard, he's quick, and he's athletic. So I like Jose Ochoa here to get this done by TKO, round 2. Moving on, Bicingor Susukayev versus Desjordan Santos. I'm gonna go Bicingor Susukayev. I'm telling you what right now. Desjordan Santos, if you're a betting man, could be a decent underdog to take. I'm going Bicingor Susukayev just because he is a much better striker. He can grapple as well. He's got the power advantage here, the speed advantage, just the technical striking advantage. Bicingor Susukayev, yeah, he's just a better fighter than Jordan Santos. But I'm going to tell you why I believe Jordan Santos could be a sneaky good underdog here. Bicingor Susukayev, he hasn't really won a round in the UFC. In his debut, he lost the first round to Eric Nolan, I believe his name is. And then he submitted him in round 2. And then he fought Eric McConaughey. I think where's only 2 fights. Eric McConaughey won the first 2 rounds, and then he got slimed in the third. So like Bicingor Susukayev is yet to bank a single round inside the UFC. I believe. Desjordan Santos has never been KO'd. He might have. I'm gonna check real quick to see if he's ever been submitted. But I know that Desjordan Santos has never been KO'd. Desjordan Santos. He's never been finished. 2 losses, and 2 losses are by decision. He's a sneaky good underdog to take. Desjordan Santos, who is very pressure heavy. He walks forward, pressures you, throws a lot of volume and all this. But the thing is, man, Desjordan Santos, he lost to Ozzy Diaz, who we'll get to later on in the card. But he lost to Ozzy Diaz, so it is just hard to pick him. But just given the fight style of Bicingor Susukayev and how he drops rounds a lot, it wouldn't be too crazy to imagine a scenario in which Bicingor Susukayev lets 2 rounds get away from him, and then he realizes, oh, I can't finish Jordan Santos. So I guess we'll just have to figure out and see what goes on there. But I am going to take Bicingor Susukayev. But I actually am going to take him by finish. Despite everything I said, I am gonna pick him to win by knockout in round. I'll go round 3. Moving on. Jeez, man. Pat Sabatini versus William Gomez. I'm going to go Pat Sabatini here. Now, I have been a William Gomez defender for quite some time. I picked him to beat a lot of guys that he ended up beating. I picked him to beat, who's that guy that beat Diego Lopez? Oh, dude, I hate that every time I'm recording. Names always tend to slip my mind. Let me just find out real quick. I picked William Gomez to beat, and I got a lot of shit for it, and he ended up winning. I picked him to beat Joe Anderson Brito. Yeah, Joe Anderson Brito. I also picked him to beat Robert Ruchala. I also picked him to beat Haider Emil, but he ended up losing that one. Giannis Gamori, I picked him to beat. I picked him, Francis Marshall. I picked him to beat all these guys. In fact, looking at the record, I'm just now realizing I have never picked William Gomez to lose ever. But this is my first time picking against him. I'm going Pat Sabatini. I just think if Pat Sabatini, William Gomez is the better striker here. If this is on the feet, William Gomez is going to pick him apart at range, jab, teep, body kick, rangy shots. But but the issue is William Gomez doesn't have any power in his hands. So I see Pat Sabatini being able to get to the body lock and get these takedowns. And maybe if William Gomez had some kind of power to be able to punish Pat Sabatini for his takedowns, maybe I could see a William Gomez win here. But he can't hurt nobody. So I think Pat Sabatini can safely close the distance whenever he wants to. I don't think he's going to get caught with any knees up the middle, nasty knees up the middle or nothing. So I actually am going to go Pat Sabatini here. I'm going to go Pat Sabatini by decision. Because William Gomez is very good, and he's only been submitted one time, and it was a very long time ago. So it was Morgan Charrier that submitted him. Good work, Morgan. But yeah, I got Pat Sabatini here by decision. I think he's honestly. I think he's gonna win all 3 rounds, and for all 3 rounds, I think he's gonna be on the back like a backpack with a very tight body lock for 3 minutes of every round. So some shit like that. So that's how I see the fight playing out. This is a bathroom break fight. If you want to go to the bathroom, if you want to go make some food, if you want to. I don't see this being entertaining. Moving on to Roman Kopylov, and I clicked his name. Roman Kopylov versus Marco Tulio. I feel like you gotta go Marco Tulio. What is going on? I feel like you gotta go Marco Tulio here. Marco Tulio is very good. Yes, he just got flatlined out cold by CLD, but CLD does stuff like that. He's a human Beyblade in there, spinning attack here, spinning back fist there, spinning wheel kick here, and he caught Marco Tulio with a beautiful spinning back fist, which Marco Tulio was doing really well in that fight. He was doing really well up until that point, and CLD had missed multiple spinning attacks. But CLD is just like that, man. He's a very dangerous guy to strike with. If you beat Marco Tulio, or if you beat CLD, it's because you implemented some grappling. That's how you beat CLD. And Marco Tulio didn't do that. They were striking, he got slammed down on the feet. CLD would beat the shit out of Roman Kopylov as well, so I'm not putting that much stock into that. But I just think Marco Tulio is a bit better here. Now, Roman Kopylov is good. He is good. There is an idea that's Roman Kopylov, but I feel like over his past few fights, he hasn't really shown that. He's had some nasty KOs over Brenson Ribeiro. I believe he has a beautiful KO against, a head kick KO. He's beaten some other guys, some other Brazilians, and then some other guys by some head kicks or some other nasty shots. Roman Kopylov is a great fight finisher if he wins. But the thing is, he lost to Fluffy Hernandez, and then he lost to Paulo Costa, but Paulo Costa would beat Marco Tulio as well. So, again, this is a close fight. I could see either guy taking it. I think Marco Tulio's got a bit more power just in his hands, but Roman Kopylov kicks much harder. And Roman Kopylov's pretty quick with the kicks, so maybe there could be something there. But I just think that Marco Tulio is a bit more well-rounded and diverse as a striker. Like, he's just got a bit more tools in his game. And come on, he beat the great Tresean Gore. Marco Tulio beat the great Tresean Gore. It's hard to not go with him. Tresean Gore is, one of the best middleweights in the world. But we love Marco Tulio. He's very fun to watch. And we like Roman Kopylov too, man. This is going to be a scrap for sure. But Roman Kopylov did not look good the first 2 rounds against RoboCop, Rodriguez. And it's like, yeah, he won the 3rd round, but everybody wins the 3rd round against RoboCop Rodriguez. Like, Jared Cannonier even had his best round in round 3 after having a great start for RoboCop. So, it's Marco Tulio's not gonna slow down quite as heavily as RoboCop. So I'm gonna go Marco Tulio, just a bit better of a striker. And I'm gonna go with Marco Tulio by decision because Roman Kopylov, I believe, has never been KO'd. So yeah, it's always hard to KO a guy that's never been KO'd because clearly they've got a chin on him, some durability. But Marco Tulio is, I just think, better. So I'm going Marco Tulio decision. This is a scrap. You don't want to miss this one. Moving on to Jim Miller versus Jared Gordon. I'm gonna go Jared Gordon. I'm gonna go Jared Gordon, although it's very risky. Jim Miller, man, he's defying age, man. He's been losing a bit more recently than he used to. He was winning a lot before UFC 300. But he lost to Chase Hooper. Like, that loss is really aging so bad. I think Jared Gordon would sleep Chase Hooper. Jared Gordon's a bit faster. They call him Flash. I don't think he's that fast. I just think he's faster than Jim Miller. But I don't really see the hype for the speed of Jared Gordon just as like a whole part of his game. But Jared Gordon is quicker than Jim Miller. His boxing is better than Jim Miller. Maybe a bit less raw power because Jim Miller does hit like a truck. But, I don't... and maybe his loss to... Rafa Garcia. Maybe his loss to Rafa Garcia isn't going to be as bad as we thought it was at the time because he just beat Alexander Hernandez in an absolute scrap. Which I thought Alexander Hernandez was going to win that one. So maybe Rafa Garcia is a bit better than I thought. So him beating Jared Gordon. Plus, if Jared Gordon really did get hit by a car, like right before the fight, whatever, that he claimed, then I guess it is an excuse. Let's be real. But if anything, getting hit by a car is not going to help you going into a fight. So, maybe Jared Gordon just had an off night against Rafa Garcia. I don't know. But at this point, I don't even know if Jim Miller would beat Rafa Garcia. He probably wouldn't. So, Jared Gordon, just with slicker boxing, I think he's going to piece Jim Miller up. And let's be real, he can defend the takedowns of Jim Miller and the grappling of Jim Miller, I believe. So, he's probably going to piece up Jim Miller, and Jim Miller's going to try to go for some takedowns. Maybe he gets 1 or 2 here or there, but the majority gets stuffed. and Jared Gordon ends up styling on him for I'm going to go decision. Because Jim Miller, one thing about Jim Miller, man, is that he's hard to finish. Moving on. Grant Dawson versus Mateus Rebecki. It's always so difficult for me to predict a Grant Dawson fight. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys right here, right now. I really do think that Grant Dawson, skillfully wise, is such a good fighter. I think he has top-level grappling. If you guys don't know about the grappling of Grant Dawson, he can wrestle, dude. He can grapple so well. High level, man, I'm telling you. Grant Dawson is legit. I just don't think he's built for fighting, though. You touch his chin. He's made of glass. Grant Dawson's made of glass. I think Grant Dawson is better than Mateus Rebecki. But I'm going to go with Mateus Rebecki by KO. Only because Again, Grant Dawson is made of glass. Maybe Grant Dawson can go out there and put on a grappling clinic, but Mateusz Rebecki can grapple too, man. And his takedown defense is really good. He's really strong. So they definitely will grapple here, but I feel like I can trust Mateusz Rebecki to be on the feet long enough in total in the fight to crack the glass chin of Grant Dawson. So I'm going to go Mateusz Rebecki by KO, not TKO, man, like a cold KO in round 2 after Grant Dawson wins the first round. After Grant Dawson wins a grindy first round, takedowns getting stuffed up in the clinch and dragging you down. I just think he's going to win a grindy first round and then get KO'd stiff in round 2 after Mateusz Rebecki starts to defend the grappling a bit better. So, yeah, I mean, got KO'd 33 seconds into the fight by Bobby Green. Just KO'd in the first round by Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres is good, and he would beat Mateusz Rebecki as well, but I just think that this chin of Grant Dawson beats a lot of people that don't have a lot of power in their hands. Like, I actually would not mind Grant Dawson in a Mateusz Gamrot matchup. I think his overall grappling might be a little bit better than Mateusz Gamrot. Maybe not though. But I really wouldn't hate that matchup for Grant Dawson. Just somebody that doesn't have power in their hands. I think Grant Dawson has an amazing chance against. So I'm gonna go with Mateusz Rebecki by KO round 2. Dude, Mateusz Rebecki beat Mike Tebek Orolbai. Like that's not a win that we just like scarp over. Like that's something to be proud of. That's something to talk about. Mike Tebek Orolbai is really good. And Mateusz Rebecki beat him and beat the shit out of him. But every single Mateusz Rebecki fight is a literal bloodfest. I think Mateusz Rebecki's last fight was either against Chris Duncan or Nick Klein. I can't remember off the top of my head which one happened first, but oh my god. But yeah, I'm over here making all kinds of noises. Yeah, Mateusz Rebecki's got this by KO round 2. Moving on. Joel Alvarez versus Yaroslav Amosov. I'm gonna go Joel Alvarez here, but obviously Yaroslav Amosov is very, very good. Now, my issue with picking Joel Alvarez here is he's got like a 28% takedown defense. It's like literally one of the worst takedown defense percentages I've ever seen in the UFC. So Yaroslav Amosov will be able to get takedowns. But on the ground itself, like I think Joel Alvarez is pretty decent. He's a very big submission threat. He's very athletic, he's strong. He could do a lot of things with the grappling. Really the only weak point about his grappling is defending the takedowns. That's about it. And yes, Yaroslav Amosov is 1-0 in UFC, winning his debut, but it was against Neil Magny. Joel Alvarez would sleep Neil Magny as well. So I don't know how much stock to put. I don't really put much stock into Neil Magny wins these days. So yeah, but on the feet, I think Joel Alvarez is much better. Like he's much better than Yaroslav Amosov on the feet. Quicker, more dynamic, more powerful, just better on the feet than Amosov. I do worry about the grappling, but I mean, Joel Alvarez's, Darce chokes. If Joel Alvarez can sprawl something here, he can get an anaconda, he can get a Darce, he can get a guillotine. Like he's not, and people were saying, oh, you're picking Joel Alvarez. Rewatch the Arman fight, bud. Like Arman Tashrukin wouldn't do the same thing to Amosov. Arman Tashrukin would beat the shit out of Amosov. Arman Tashrukin is like one of the best fucking wrestlers like in the fucking MMA world. So, yes, he did put an insane beating on Joel Alvarez, but I think he would beat Amosov as well. But I just think that Joel Alvarez is a bit more of a well-rounded mixed martial artist. And he's just very dangerous, man. He's got a lot of finishes, mostly by submission. But he's just so dangerous, man. And I believe Amosov is dangerous too. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to check something real quick. Yaroslav Amosov. I was gonna say he's got a lot of decisions, but his fucking submission rate is high as hell too. So yeah, this is gonna be a great fight, but I'm gonna take Joel Alvarez mainly because of the striking. But yeah, moving on. I'm gonna go with how is Joel gonna win? I don't think he's gonna win by submission. I think he's gonna win by decision. Win by decision. Moving on to Ateba Gutierrez versus Ozzy Diaz. When are we gonna get a real test for Ozzy Diaz? Man? Dude's been unstoppable recently, and they give us an absolute can in Ateba Gutierrez, man. Like, this is ridiculous. No. Ateba Gutierrez is gonna slime Ozzy Diaz the fuck out in like the first round. I don't know why they keep doing this. One of my friends on Steam went online. Ateba Gutierrez is gonna have like the best performance of the card, because he's just gonna go out there, put a few strikes on Ozzy Diaz, and just KO him. Not much to talk about here. Sacrificial lamb. He's getting done like a sacrificial lamb. Ateba Gutierrez is middleweight Francis Ngannou, okay? Very powerful, very quick, great finishing ability, good striking. Yeah, Ateba Gutierrez, first round KO. Don't need to say much more. Moving on to the main card, Bobby Green versus Jeremy Stephens. I'm going to go Bobby Green here. I see a lot of people trying to take a crafty Jeremy Stephens KO, but Jeremy Stephens' power. Like, I get it. Jeremy Stephens, powerful guy. You know, lots of KOs. Only got to really KO Josh Emmett before his last fight. Whatever. That's featherweight. At lightweight, I haven't seen the same kind of power out of Jeremy Stephens. Now, I know Bobby Green's chin has kind of been put on, I know Bobby Green's chin has kind of been taken home by a lot of guys in his recent careers. But I just think that Jeremy Stephens is too slow. I think you have to be a certain type. Like, yes, Bobby Green's been KO'd, but not by a single guy that wouldn't beat the shit out of Jeremy Stephens. Mauricio Huffy would have a star-making performance against Jeremy Stephens. Drew Dober would beat Jeremy Stephens. Who else has KO'd Bobby Green? You know, like Paddy Pimblett didn't KO him, but he submitted Bobby Green. Paddy Pimblett would submit Jeremy Stephens just as easily as he submitted Bobby Green. You know, so it's like the guys that have been beating Bobby Green and finishing Bobby Green, they do worse to Jeremy Stephens, maybe low key. Jeremy Stephens' chin ain't as bad as Green's, but Green is much quicker. His boxing is much slicker. He's just a better fighter than Jeremy Stephens. If Jeremy Stephens does win, congratulations, your power got through to Bobby Green, but he's still better than you. That's the thing here. Like, Bobby Green, regardless of how this fight goes, Bobby Green's better. His boxing is much better, much slicker. And Bobby Green has underrated power in his hands. People are saying Bobby Green can't KO Zell Huber because MJ couldn't. And I'm like, bro, Bobby Green has more power than MJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just a better fighter than MJ as well, especially right now. So I think Bobby Green is going to put on a stick and move clinic here. Bobby Green is going to go out there, and he's just going to his jab is going to be in Jeremy Stephens' face all night. The jab there, the follow up, right hand, he's just going to be too quick. He's going to stick and move for 3 rounds. But I think he's going to win by decision though, because Jeremy Stephens is quite durable on the chin. I know Calvin Kattar got him out of there, but that was pre-injury Calvin Kattar when Calvin Kattar was a serious contender in the featherweight division. But Jeremy Stephens took a lot of good shots off of Mason Jones, and Mason Jones is such a powerful guy. So, but yeah, I think Bobby Green is going to have a beautiful 30-27 stick and move performance here, where he's just going to put an absolute striking and boxing clinic on Jeremy Stephens. So that's my take on this fight. Bobby Green is going to win by decision. Moving on to Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. Oh, I see a lot of people picking Sean Brady here. I can't trust him. I know it could be hard to trust in Joaquin Buckley at times as well, but dude, Sean Brady, as good as he is not a fighter. He's just not a fighter. He's kind of the same boat as Grant Dawson. He's very fucking good. Sean Brady is very good, but he's just not a fighter, man. If you can show him Sean Brady, if you can show Sean Brady any true resistance or, adversity, he just does crumble. He's a quitter. Sean Brady's a quitter, man. TKO'd on the feet by Bilal Muhammad. I will never let you live that down. KO'd in your last fight by Michael Morales. Granted, Michael Morales would beat Joaquin Buckley, but Sean Brady just gets hit a few times, and he's just, if he can't get you down and keep you down, if you touch Sean Brady a good few times, man, he will just crumble and quit. Like, it's just who Sean Brady is. He's not a fighter. He's a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? He's a grappler. He's not a fighter. So, Joaquin Buckley, I know he got dominated in the last fight, especially in the grappling by Kamaru Usman. And Usman isn't really who he used to be, so maybe that's not the best kind of loss to have if you're Joaquin Buckley. But at the very least, the grace I'm going to give Joaquin Buckley here is that Kamaru Usman poses threats on the feet too. Usman's got a great jab. He's very powerful, very experienced in stand-up wars. Like, Joaquin Buckley is a better striker than Kamaru Usman. But Usman has threats he can give to almost anybody in the feet if you're just sitting there banging with him. Because Kamaru Usman is he has a lot of good power. So maybe Joaquin Buckley was trying to not get hit by some power and it aid the takedowns. Yes, Sean Brady will take Joaquin Buckley down. Yes, he will be looking good. But I think Joaquin Buckley, especially after his last fight, he talked about urgency and how there wasn't enough urgency for him to get back to his feet and, try to finish the fight. Sean Brady is not as strong as Kamaru Usman as well. I think Joaquin Buckley is going to be able to get back to his feet, especially if he's down a round or two and he knows he's got to be urgent. I think he can get up and sleep Sean Brady. I'm going Joaquin Buckley by TKO in round 2, I'm going to say. Sean Brady's going to win the first round, get a takedown or two. He's going to have some control over Joaquin Buckley. But Joaquin Buckley is a very short, stocky, powerful guy. He's very strong as well, stronger than Sean Brady is. He might be able to, if he do, dude, I'm talking about right now, if Joaquin Buckley defends the first takedown that Sean Brady shoots, fight's over in like a minute. Joaquin Buckley's just going to get Sean Brady out of there. This fight is just a trust thing for me. Am I going to trust Sean Brady, who's afraid to get into a fight, to win a fight? I really hate doing that. I hate trusting guys that are afraid to fight to win a fight. I hate doing that. Joaquin Buckley is not scared of a fight. My PC went off. There we go. He's not scared of a fight, man. And I feel like Sean Brady is more likely to pull this fight out of the grasps of hell if he needs to, rather than Sean Brady. For Sean Brady to win this, it kind of has to be a perfect performance, and it's so hard to bet on those kind of performances. So I'm going Joaquin Buckley by round 2 TKO. Sean Brady, typical Sean Brady loss where he just crumbles up and quits. Moving on. Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'm Going Alexander Volkov here, man. This is such a good heavyweight fight, man. Two elite heavyweights who are really good at everything going at it. This is really good for the heavyweight division, this fight. But I'm going to Alexander Volkov. And I think this fight is going to look quite similar to the Sergey Pavlovich fight for Volkov. Because Sergey Pavlovich is a better boxer than Waldo Cortez Acosta. Waldo probably has a bit better. I think Waldo is a bit better at offensive grappling than Sergey Pavlovich. So maybe there is a game plan here for Waldo Cortez Acosta to grapple. But then again, Jailton Almeida is a better grappler than Waldo Cortez Acosta, and Volkov beat him, rightfully so. So, I'm not using MMA math here necessarily. I'm just saying that Volkov has beaten better grapplers and he's beaten better strikers. So where does Waldo Cortez Acosta's ability to win come into play? Where is it at in this fight? Is it on the feet? I don't think so. Volkov's a better striker. He's got that range. He's got nasty jabs and long-range weapons. His teep kicks are nasty. Does he win it by the grappling? I mean, Volkov submitted by Aspinall. Aspinall's a better grappler than Waldo. Beat Jailton Almeida. It's like, I don't really know where Waldo's success comes from in this fight. Maybe Waldo's just improving beyond a measurable amount, because he might just go out there and piece out Volkov. But then again, Volkov beat Cyril Gane in the rematch. Real ones know this. Outstruck Cyril Gane. So it's really hard to imagine Waldo getting the better of Volkov on the feet after Volkov beating all of these better strikers than Waldo. But yeah, Volkov is just very smart in there, very calculated. He doesn't really take any unnecessary risks that much. He's safe. Long-range weapons keeps him safe, especially at heavyweight for the most part. I just see I see Alexander Volkov having a Sergey Pavlovich-like esque performance. Jabs, teep kicks, body kicks, I just think he's going to jab and teep Waldo Cortez Acosta for 3 rounds. 29-28 probably, because Waldo is very good, so he probably will take a round somewhere. Moving on. Co-main event, Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. I'm going Joshua Van. I know that this is a very scary matchup for both guys. But the reason I'm going Joshua Van is because I know that, a lot of people could say, oh, but these guys aren't that good, but I really do believe that Joshua Van's defensive grappling is one of the best attributes about his game. His ability to defend takedowns or get up immediately after being taken down is sensational, man. It is really good. And I know that the guys that have been doing it aren't as good as Tatsuro Taira, but who the fuck cares? Right? Joshua Van has beaten every grappling test that has come his way, and those are his best performances as well. So it's like hard to imagine, Tatsuro Taira just being able to take down. Now, I don't really like Joshua Van against much taller guys. I picked Royval to beat him, so that was a pleasant surprise, him beating Brandon Royval. But really tall, lengthy, rangy guys scare me against Joshua Van just because of, what we've seen against Charles Johnson. Joshua Van was beating the shit out of Charles Johnson. And then in the 3rd round, Charles Johnson just kind of realized, wait a minute, I'm a fucking featherweight-sized man in the flyweight division. I can just put some power on this guy that he's never seen before. And he just goes out there in the 3rd round and just knocks Joshua Van out. But Tatsuro Taira isn't powerful. He really, he's got some hands, but as just a power puncher, I don't believe in him. I also don't think Tatsuro Taira is that strong physically. He's a bit more of a technique maxer, Technique maxer, has a lot of good skills, but physical strength, I've seen people genuinely just buck Tatsuro Taira off because of his lack of physical strength. Like Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval isn't really that strong himself. He's a skinny, lengthy guy, but he was like bucking Tatsuro Taira off of him like Tatsuro was a child. And I know Tatsuro has gotten better since then, and the first guy to finish Brandon Moreno, so that was fucking insane. But that win is losing stock because Brandon Moreno is losing now to all these guys. He lost like twice since then or something, right? Or something like that. Oh, shut up. Tatsuro Taira or Brandon Moreno wins are just they're losing stock. So although Taira is good, he did beat like a washed up Moreno. And I think Brandon Royval is in a current better form than Moreno. So Joshua Van's win over him, even though it was very close up into the knockdown, might still hold a bit more stock than Tatsuro Taira's win over Moreno. But then again, maybe not, because he did finish Moreno, whereas Van went to a decision. And Moreno's a former champion. So it's a weird discussion. It's a discussion that's easily debatable on both sides. But I think Joshua Van, I do think Tatsuro will look good early, but I think Joshua Van will be able to build into the fight. Once he realizes this guy's not that strong and I can stop him from finishing me, then Van's going to go up in confidence. And, like, Van is very confident. He's a very confident guy. And he's gaining a bit of cocky arrogance, Joshua Van. He's gaining a bit of cocky arrogance, and that brings motivation into the fight. That brings, like, a will to win and stuff like that. So, and Japanese fighters are 0-7 in title fights in the UFC, so I've never won a title fight. 0-8? I'm thinking so. I think Joshua Van, some of his best attacks on the feet are body attacks. His body attacks are nasty, man. He will just rip you to the body 5 times in a row with how quick he is, and then by the time the combination's over, you've already felt it. You know, that he's very quick. Joshua Van's better on the feet here. I feel like I don't even have to bring that up. Obviously, Joshua Van has a striking advantage. Obviously, Taira has a grappling advantage. But I just think that Joshua Van can survive longer in Tatsuro Taira's world than Taira can survive in Joshua Van's world, on the feet. So I'm thinking, that Joshua Van beats up the body. I think Joshua Van's going to put in a lot of investment shots, like to the body. And then later in the rounds 3, 4, and 5, if it even gets there, I am a former wrestler myself. I have wrestled. I'm a former wrestler myself. And I know, especially in training, I know how hard it is to continue to wrestle and grapple. I've done a bit of jiu-jitsu as well. I know how hard it is to grapple and to wrestle if your body hurts. And I think Joshua Van is going to put mustard on Taira's body and invest in the body shots all fight long. And then as a fight goes on, Taira's ability to grapple is going to shrink significantly because he's been hit to the body. His body's hurting. It's aching. He can't get the same, the same core mechanics. So when he's trying to grapple, and I think he's going to slow down significantly towards the end of the fight. I would not be surprised at all to see this fight go to a decision, but I am going to go Joshua Van TKO rounds 4 or 5. Honestly, I can see something like that. But Taira's got a very long torso. It's right there. Joshua Van can't miss it. I think he's going to be investing in it all night long. And I believe over the course of the fight, Taira's body is going to weaken, and it's going to get harder for him to implement his game. And then Joshua Van's only going to be getting stronger because I believe in his cardio. So I just think that Joshua Van is going to be able to defend the grappling well enough to keep this on the feet for a lot of the fight, and then he's just going to do a lot of damage on the feet while they're there and wear Tatsuro Taira down over the course of the fight. So I'm going to go Joshua Van. I'm going to go round 5 TKO, honestly. I'm going to go round 5 TKO. Moving on to the main event, Khamzat Chimeav versus Sean Strickland. That is the most racist that Sean Strickland has ever looked. My God. I'm gonna go Khamzat Chimeav, though. I'm gonna go Khamzat Chimeav, unfortunately. Will be rooting for Sean Strickland. But Khamzat Chimeav is probably gonna get it done. I have a hot take about this fight, though, man. I do have a thought that this decision will be controversial. I've said it. Yes, Sean Strickland's gonna have a lot of success in this fight, I think. I'm gonna break down how I think the fight's gonna go. Khamzat Chimeav is gonna win the first 3 rounds, 10-9. Okay, we ain't giving 10-8s to Khamzat Chimeav just because he's laying on you. Okay, we need damage in this sport if we want a 10-8. Okay, and I don't know if Khamzat's gonna do that. I think Khamzat is gonna get his takedowns early on. I think he's gonna win all 3 rounds 10-9. With like 4 minutes of ground control time, maybe 10 total strikes, no damage whatsoever to Sean Strickland because that's what Khamzat does, I guess. Just no damage. So he's going to lay on Sean Strickland for the first 3 rounds. But Sean Strickland is going to give him more. I think Sean Strickland is going to make Khamzat work a lot more than DDP did. And I'm still not sold on Khamzat Chimaev's cardio. I still think his cardio is quite shit. His fight against DDP didn't prove anything to me cardio-wise because he didn't work. DDP never made him work. So he was just laying on. I don't get tired if I'm... Listen, if I lay in bed, if I'm laying in my bed, I don't get tired. Like I get tired sleepy-wise, but I don't get tired cardio-wise if I'm just laying in my bed, right? That's what Khamzat was doing. I'm Khamzat and my bed is DDP. I'm laying down. I'm not getting gassed out, right? So that's just kind of that's the point I'm making, right? Now if every time I lay on my bed is trying to stand the fuck up and he's like wiggling around and I'm doing my best to keep my bed laying down on the frame, maybe then I could get gassed out after 15-20 minutes if I'm like sitting there grappling my bed. But I think that's what Sean Strickland's going to do. I think Sean Strickland is going to be... I love the bed analogy. Sean Strickland is going to make him work. He's going to be... Sean Strickland has great cardio. Okay, I don't think he's going to get tired. And he wrestles a lot. You always see Sean Strickland in these singlets. He's always in singlets, always wrestling, worked with a lot of Russian wrestlers. This guy knows what he's doing, right? He's not as good as Khamzat, but he will be making Khamzat work and work and work and work and work. And I see a few sprawls for Strickland. Khamzat's going to use a lot of energy. So by round 4, I can see Khamzat Chimeav being a bit gassed out. And round 4 and 5, I'm going to actually say that Sean Strickland is... For the 2 rounds, 4 and 5, I'm going to say that Sean Strickland is walking down a gassed Khamzat Chimeav, blasting teeps into his body and blasting jabs on his face. And the reason I said this fight is going to be controversial, because I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of fans out there are scoring 10-8 rounds to Sean Strickland in round 5, and maybe some fans might think Sean might have edged around 3 when Khamzat Chimeav was on the verge of beginning to gas out or something like that. So that's how I think this fight's going to go. Khamzat winning early, but gassing out a bit late, and Sean Strickland taking over in rounds 4 and 5, putting more damage on Khamzat in those 2 rounds than Khamzat did in the first 3. And I could just see a lot of fans, especially Strickland fans, trying to go, because I thought DDP beat Sean Strickland the first time. I thought DDP clearly won that fight. But you have a lot of Sean Strickland fans saying that they think Sean won that fight. So it was a controversial. I can see a similar thing here, where Khamzat Chimeav clearly wins 3 rounds to 2, all 10-9s. But Sean Strickland, the rounds that Sean won are close enough to like a 10-8 that a fan of Sean Strickland with some bias could maybe argue the fact that it was a 10-8. So that's how I see this fight going. I see it going to a 5-round decision, because I don't know if I need to see Khamzat finish somebody before I see that that's still in his, game plans. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go, uh, 3 rounds to 2 for Hamzat Chimaev. A lot of fans saying it's controversial. That is my take on this fight. Thank you guys for being here, listening. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys think I'm dumb for some of my takes, if you guys agree. Um, if you want to see all my betting slips, my betting parlays, and all that, head to my Twitter. The only betting shit I really post on here is my Underdog of the Week shorts, which I will be posting one of those. Maybe today, later today, because my Friday is fucking filled, so I probably won't have time tomorrow. So I probably have to do it today. So later today, head on over to my YouTube shorts if you want to see my Underdog of the Week. I was on a winning streak, man, but Vince Morales, man, lost to Kobe Thickness, so that broke my streak. But it's okay, because we get back in the win column. Anyways, I'm about to head out. Almost 50 minutes long. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, come on, Strickland, do it for the boys, man. Get this fucking guy out of here, man. All right, that is it. See you guys. Bye.